Let me just welcome Chairman Genachowski. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ward and the Stanford Institute for Economic Policy and Research. Greg Roston, I saw you for a minute on the screen before, and thank you very much for putting this together. Why don't I just talk for a few minutes and then take questions. I'm happy to participate in this, and just very sorry that I can't be there. Why don't I focus on broadband and what I talk about, and actually start where you left off on whether or not emergency medicine and broadband have relevance to each other. And I'll tell you one story that something I saw not far from where you are in Palo Alto that is one illustration of the power of broadband technology to improve lives that certainly I've kept in mind as we've worked on our broadband plan. There is a disease that causes blindness in newborns. It has some very long name. It's curable as long as it's diagnosed and treated quickly. And right now, generally what happens is that there are eye doctors who are specialists in this who are like traveling salesmen, and they travel around to lots of different hospitals where newborns have indications of having this disease. And they go and they examine the newborn. They do a little pencil sketch of the eye. If they're concerned, they'll come back the next day, do another pencil sketch, compare the pencil sketches, and if treatment is necessary, there'll be treatment. Well, that's how it works. It's how it's worked for many, many years. And these doctors try to catch as many of these newborns as they can and prevent blindness. Well, here's what happens now in Palo Alto. Instead of having the doctors run around to hospitals all over the place, the doctor, the specialist, stays in the hospital in Palo Alto. And there are diagnostic machines connected by broadband to the hospital, and people trained at the hospital with the basic ability to, do that initial cut to see if a newborn needs to be examined. And the examination occurs remotely, and instead of little pencil sketches, there's a digital image of the newborn's eye that's sent, and the next day when they do it again, instead of comparing two pencil sketches, they're actually comparing two precise digital images. And it's easy to see from this example how beneficial high-speed broadband connectivity can be to improving healthcare, saving costs. You listen to this example and you think, wow, that should be the rule, not the exception. Of course, it's the exception, not the rule. And so it's good to be talking to people in Palo Alto, and it gives you a little bit of a taste of what's motivated our broadband plan. Of course, Congress required us to do a broadband plan, which I was pleased about. Broadband is, I believe, the major infrastructure challenge of our generation. It is our platform for economic growth and job creation in the years ahead, for tackling and addressing major challenges like healthcare, education, energy, public safety. It's also essential to our democracy in the 21st century. And so we took this challenge of developing a broadband plan very seriously. As evidence of that, we convinced Blair Levin, who I know is there today and I hope is in the room right now, to run this project. And he and his team did an extraordinary job in doing this. And let me try to summarize some of what we found and some of what we recommended. The first thing we found is that the U.S. is lagging globally when it comes to broadband. Some of you have traveled around the world, have a sense of this. But whether you look at speed, adoption, we are not leading the world. Different studies put us in different places, but we're, by any measure, not on the medal platform. Number one. A huge issue because of the importance of this platform, as I said before, to the U.S. being an economic leader and a center for innovation in the 21st century. So the U.S. is lagging globally. Second, communities inside the U.S. are lagging behind others. And so low-income, rural, minority communities, seniors, all with rates of adoption that are even lower than the rate of adoption that is the average rate for the U.S., which is low compared to other countries. And then finally, and this is a critical finding of the broadband team, the costs of digital exclusion are rising. And so 10 years ago, if you were looking for a job, you'd look in the newspaper, and if you didn't have high-speed internet access, it probably would have been okay with respect to whether or not you were going to find a job. Today, we're all very focused on the fact that Craigslist and other services have caused classified ads to move from newspapers to the internet. Increasingly, job postings are online only. Increasingly, to apply for a job, you need to apply online. And so the cost today of not being connected to broadband internet is much higher than it used to be. Think about education for our kids. Some of what I've heard as I travel to different parts of the country, lots of teachers who have the following situation. Half their kids are on broadband, half are not. That would be probably an average public school. Obviously, in some cases, broadband at home is much lower than that. But take that example, and you have a teacher who wants to make sure that his or her kids are trained with the tools they need for the 21st century, and they look at this and they say, what am I supposed to do? If I give these kids, I want to give these kids assignments that require using the internet, that require the development of digital skills. If I do that, then the half of my kids who don't have broadband at home are at a disadvantage. If I don't do that, then I'm leaving behind the kids who do have broadband at home and leaving behind everyone. How do I solve that problem?